Greetings, my friends. This is Carrie Konyha at holisticspsychic.com in Sedona, Arizona, coming on to share some insights around the energy showing up with this full moon happening in the sign of Sagittarius on May 23rd, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. And before we get into exploring the energies around the full moon, I got to say real quick that I experienced a crazy UFO encounter with 5 of my friends in Sedona last night. We all witnessed it together. And we did catch it on video. So I just uploaded a short little video about it, which I'm going to post up here and in the description box below. Check it out and let me know what you think it is. It was one of the most intense UFO experiences that I've ever had. With that, let's go ahead and get into the energies of this full moon. I would love to start by just doing a quick little recap of some of the things that I talked about with the beginning of this lunar cycle, which happened 2 weeks ago on the new moon. For those of you who are following my channel here, my videos, you know that I really love to take the approach of looking at the astrology as a tool to help inform and guide our journeys in soul evolution. And so because of that, I always like to include what the spiritual wisdom teachings are around each lunar cycle. And in accordance to Native American indigenous wisdom teachings for the lunar cycle in May, which we are halfway through now here with the full moon, is about listening, tuning into silence with the intention of gaining some type of clarity of awareness or deep inner insight or answer regarding something that you've been seeking clarity, insight, guidance, and direction on. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment while we are in this next few days of the moon waning now with the full moon. What insight have you gained? What answer have you gotten? What awareness has come in that is now supporting you in being able to make a decision, take positive strides forward, perhaps let something go, pivot your focus and direction? Let me know in the comments how you have gained insight over the past 2 weeks from the new moon to the full moon that we're in right now. I'm going to pull up the chart as I've been doing for the past few episodes. You guys seem to like being able to see the chart. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart. We're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you the energies that are shaping up astrologically. And then I am going to do the all signs portion where I'm giving insights, messages, guidance for each individual sign based on the collective astrology that's coming up right now. And then I'm going to read some cards for each sign. I am going to timestamp this because you guys seem to be enjoying that as well. So once you hear what you want to hear on the collective overview, you can easily just skip forward to listen to your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart now. I am getting this published a few days later than I wanted to, but better late than never. I've been super busy. I just had a huge event this past weekend that I produced, and that was like a lot of work doing that. And then, of course, juggling clients in between and all that. So anyway, here we are. Let me back this up a little bit, make it a little bit smaller so you can see the full chart. And let me make this adjustment over here. Make sure I'm not cut off here. Okay, so here we go. We are looking at the astrology chart for the full moon happening in the sign of Sagittarius. The exact full moon was at 6:52 a.m. this morning. Pacific time. So of course, make your timing adjustment for your location in the world. And let's go ahead and take a look here. So I'm just going to show my cursor. Let me make sure I'm prepared for annotating here. Okay, so you can see almost everything is on this left side of the chart here in Aries, Taurus, Pisces, and then Aquarius, with the exception of the moon, that is in Sagittarius. Let's start by looking at the big chunks here. I'm actually going to scroll down and show you something with the elements and the modalities. So we have mostly earth and fire energy showing up around this full moon. So that's root chakra, grounding, centering, establishing foundations, solar plexus chakra, our passions, our enthusiasms, and channeling our energy in the direction of those things. So we can say that like a root theme happening around this full moon is establishing foundations for fully launching into experiencing, embodying, being actively involved with what our true soul passions and enthusiasms are at this point in time. And then modality wise, we have cardinal, fixed, mutable. The mutable signs are the ones that happen at the end of a season. And so we are in the last month of spring here. Summer is going to be arriving on June 21st. So the mutable energy showing up right now is flexible. It's going with the flow, changeable. So with all things in astrology, there's sort of the unconscious, what could turn into more of a challenge aspect, and a conscious, evolved, high vibration aspect. So the evolved awareness gift that comes with the mutable signs is that we can choose to be flexy and flow with the signs and synchronicities that life shows us, and not be completely rigidly rooted in whatever our intent is. We want to have our intent, but we want to flow forward in the direction of whatever our intentions are, with the signs, synchronicities that life shows us as sort of like a path of least effort. And so this is a good practice, a mindfulness practice that we can do right now. On the challenge aspect of the mutable energies, it's especially for people who are highly empathic to begin with and easily influenced or susceptible to other forces of energy. If we're unconsciously working with the mutable energy, we can fall into sort of getting off track with our own path and morphing to whatever other dominant energies might be showing up around us. So that's something to have on your radar to navigate. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Doing any type of root chakra work, solar plexus chakra work, again, grounding, rooting, establishing foundations that enable you to fully shine in alignment with what your deepest enthusiasms, passions, and soul calling is, because the solar plexus chakra is our power center, and it's where we channel the force of our will. And we want to do that intentfully, in alignment with what we perceive as being our highest expression of life, meaning our highest joy, our highest fulfillment. Having said that, let's take a look at what's going on here. Firstly, if we look over to the left in Aries, we see that we have a conjunction pretty much between all three of these things: the north node of the moon, Aries, and Chiron. So that's a lot of initiative energy that's showing up right now, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's all about initiative, taking initiative in regard to our unique, authentic nature of who we are, our unique path in life. Anytime there's a big Aries signature showing up astrologically, whether it's in a natal chart or with the transits, it's a collective, especially speaking of the transits, it's a collective energy that urges us, gently nudges us in the direction of empowering our own individual sense of path. This is a time of being in your own self leadership, your sovereign leadership. It's not a time of following the masses at all. The blending of Chiron, Mars, and the North Node is really activating a strong ambitiousness, determination to start taking action in alignment with our true inner soul calling. The true inner soul calling part is coming from the North Node of the moon, because that's what it represents. And North Node in Aries is about our own journey through life, our own uniqueness and individuality, our own sense of path. So if you have your natal chart, look to see where the Aries sector of your chart is, and that will give you more specific details for you as to how this is showing up. And actually, when I do the all signs later on, I'll talk a little bit about that. Mars is where the action is in our chart. It's where we are compelled to channel our drive and take action. So again, in Aries, it's in regard to our own individual nature of who we are and our own individual path. Chiron is an asteroid that is connected to the archetype of the wounded healer. And with Aries conjunct Chiron, this has been going on for a while. So this is since well, there's been an emphasis on Chiron since January because it went direct then, which enables us to feel like we've achieved healing. So now, collectively, in our own unique ways, we're all experiencing these energy. Okay, like I've been through a lot. I'm finding my footing again. I'm feeling better. And this healing that is connected with Chiron right now can be on all levels. It could be physical healing, emotional, mental, and even spiritual. But now with this full moon, our awareness is illuminated and our ambition is activated, and we're ready to just claim our path. Let me know in the comments how you feel that this is showing up for you. I'm definitely feeling this in my life. My rising sign is Aries, and I am having an Aries return. So this is really impacting me. My chart ruler, because I'm Aries rising, my chart ruler is Mars. And so, yeah, I'm definitely feeling this in a way of ambitiousness to put energy into my creative professional endeavors right now. So again, let me know how it's showing up for you. I'm going to go ahead and shift this a little bit, and let's look at all of these things that are also happening in the sign of Taurus. So we've got Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, and Venus in Taurus. There's a nice solid conjunction happening between Uranus, Jupiter, and Venus right now. Let me move this so you can see that Venus is at 29 degrees, Jupiter is at 29 degrees, and Uranus is at 23 degrees. Anytime we are at a 0 degree of something, a 29 degree or a 15 degree, these are like markers in astrology, where the 29 degree is like the final culminating shebang climax energy that happens before that planet moves into the next sign. So Jupiter is at 29 degrees and 26 minutes at the time of the full moon. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, good fortune, positive opportunity. Venus is in its natural placement because it is the ruler of Taurus. And Venus is about love, beauty, harmony, aesthetics, connections. And it also has to do with our values. So collectively, we are going to find that we have a heightened sense of desire to surround ourselves with harmonious environments, peaceful environments, comfortable environments, beautiful environments. This is a really good time to practice in shamanism what's called the beauty way or the beauty path, which is walking in beauty. And I don't mean aesthetically physical beauty, I mean internally. Practice embodying an energy of internal harmony, appreciating the beauty that you see in the natural realm is also a strong personal growth empowerment practice that we can do right now. Last Sunday, I went with a friend of mine to the creek here in Sedona and just laid on, there's like this little beach area that we have that's called Buddha Beach. I just laid on the ground, on the sand, by the water, near a tree. I was up against a tree for a while and just allowed myself to be completely recharged by nature. And that type of practice, however you choose to do it, is very fitting now. You probably will find that you naturally do feel like getting out in nature and getting recharged, putting your bare feet on the grass, because again, Venus is in Taurus and Taurus is an earth sign. And it's about enjoying sensual pleasures, meaning enjoying pleasures of the physical senses. So feet in the grass, feet in the sand, grounding, connecting with nature are practices that we probably naturally feel compelled to do, but we can purposely, intentionally do these practices to support our inner well-being. Now, I talked a little bit about this during the new moon because this is a conjunction that just recently happened, and that is the conjunction between Uranus and Jupiter. And this conjunction only happens every 14 years. I talked about this in the last video that I uploaded. And Uranus is the energy of unexpected developments coming into the picture. It's the energy of sudden change. It can be equated to the Tower card in the way of unexpected change, unexpected developments, but the change and the developments that happen with Uranus are supporting our evolution in some way or another. And with both of these energies coming together in Taurus, we could read this as a synthesized energy of Uranus supporting us in being liberated from anything that's no longer serving us in ways that we might feel like all of a sudden out of the blue, there might be something that you've been really contemplating for a while or on the fence with. Suddenly you feel ready to make that shift, make that decision, make that change, and it's on to a new path of growth, especially with Jupiter right there. And with Venus there, it's all happening in a very synchronistic, harmonious way. So look to see where the Taurus sector of your personal chart is to get even more information around specifically how that's showing up for you. If you need help interpreting that for yourself, of course, I am available for consultations. If you're not going to be in Sedona, then we can definitely have an astrological consultation online through any type of video chat app. So feel free to reach out. And then the sun, as you'll see here. Oh, wait, I didn't talk about Mercury. So Mercury is in Taurus now. Mercury is the planet of communication, sharing ideas. It's also about socializing. And the social component is really going to be activated now because we are also in the first 2-3 days of Gemini season right now. The sun just moved into Gemini, and Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. And so as Taurus would represent desires to gather with friends and enjoying, maybe outdoor little house parties and things like that, Mercury adds to the desire to want to connect with people, and the fact that we are also in Gemini season brings in that sociability as well. When the sun is in Gemini, we all feel more social. We want to connect. We want to share ideas. We want to just enjoy company of like-minded people. And you probably will find that you naturally feel that. I've been doing that for the past 2 weeks and I'm loving it. I'm loving changing things up, meeting new people, making new friends. And so yeah, let me know in the comments how that's showing up for you if you would like. So then we're going to take a look at the moon here. When we have a full moon, the full moon is always opposite of the sun. And oppositions are like polarities. Okay, so the moon in moon in Sagittarius, this gives us a deep inner sense or vibe or compelling on a sensing feeling level to want to be a seeker of truth, a seeker of higher knowledge, a seeker of worldly adventurous experiences. And so that's adding to this component of sociability that I've already talked about, and connecting with like-minded people. Moon in Sagittarius is adding to the mix of, and I want to be interacting with people who are on some type of path of conscious evolution, awareness, people I can share these types of life philosophy ideas with. And so that all feels really good. We have Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces. We could say they're in a loose conjunction because they are like 9 degrees apart, which technically can be a conjunction. Somebody just asked me about this the other day. We have a new astrology club in Sedona, and you can find them on Instagram. If you just type in Sedona Astrology Club, you should find it. So anyway, I went to their meeting last week and this exact thing came up. What does Neptune conjunct Saturn in Pisces mean? It can, it's not like there's just one meaning. It depends on the approach of astrology that you're taking. I love evolutionary astrology, so I'm looking at the astrology through the lens of how it supports our evolution. So me knowing that Pisces is the archetype of the mystic and the shaman, and that Neptune is the natural modern ruler of Pisces. And so Neptune has those qualities of things that are connected to intuition, our spiritual connection with life, also things having to do with creativity, music, art, dance, things of that nature. And Saturn rules things that have to do with self-discipline, self-responsibility. It is having to do with measures of time, On more mundane astrology levels, it also has to do with governments, institutions, things like that, which can also be, the government part's not connected to Pisces, but the 12th house, which is the natural ruler of replacement of Pisces, can be institutions. So anyway, I interpret this as having a strong sense of commitment to your own soul evolution, your spiritual path, also a commitment to embracing your own inner creative side and letting that come out to play right now, and a commitment to paying attention to your intuition. I strongly believe that our intuition literally is the language of our soul. The word intuition is the word that we use to describe the language that our deep inner soul uses to communicate with the other aspects of our awareness, our mental awareness, and the universe, right? So deep commitment to really honing that, developing that as a part of your soul evolution is how I interpret that. Because it is a conjunction. And when there's a conjunction, meaning two planets connected to each other, it's a fused energy that works synergetically together. Okay, then we have Pluto over here in Aquarius. Pluto is retrograde right now. We know that Pluto is the planet of alchemy, evolution. It's also connected to deep shadow work. And when Pluto is retrograde, it can indicate a time of revisiting some shadow work things. It could be that during this time, because Pluto just recently went retrograde and it's at 0 degrees right now, it will go back into Capricorn pretty soon and then come back into Aquarius by the time we get to like October, November. Okay, that 0 degrees is like a reset button. Retrograde means, oh, maybe there's something that was hiding out in my shadow side that I was not consciously aware of, but now I'm becoming aware of it. It's like a revisiting and gives another opportunity to have a deeper layer of clearing, healing, and integration, which doing that work now, having some introspection around those things, because remember, retrogrades are always about reconsidering, reevaluating, revisiting things. So Pluto is revisiting matters having to do with our soul evolution and our alchemy of awareness. And so let's take a look at some of these transits that are happening. I'm going to go ahead and start with Pluto. Pluto is making a sextile aspect to the moon. To me, that says that our inner being, because the moon is our inner being, our senses, our feelings, our intuitions, instinctive knowings, is what's informing. The moon is positively informing that Pluto evolutionary energy within us. So again, good time to really be checking in with yourself. What's my inner guidance telling me? What's my deep silent knowledge telling me? And then Pluto is making a trine aspect to the sun, Venus, and I'm going to call it Jupiter as well. So Pluto with the sun in Gemini. With the sun in Gemini being more social on that collective level, this could be renovating our social circles. As I mentioned earlier, this feels to be a time where we're all being social and inevitably we're going to be making new friends. So there's renovations happening around our social circles while the sun is transiting through Gemini. I feel like this is going to be new friends that feel aligned with the you that you're embodying and empowering right now. And that, of course, can also come with certain friendships falling to the wayside. This is natural to happen when we are on paths of growth, and it's not a bad thing. It's nothing to feel weird or awkward or uncomfortable with. It's just something that happens in life as we grow and evolve. Either our friends, our people we're connected with, are growing and evolving as well in ways that feel parallel and aligned with us, or not. And if not, it's okay to just kind of naturally let that fall to the wayside. Maybe it'll come back around again at some point, maybe not. But that's how I'm interpreting that energy. Pluto making the trine aspect to both Jupiter and Venus. This, I feel, is going to bring some ambitiousness to refresh and revitalize certain areas of our lives. And whatever house that is in for you is going to give you more distinct information on that. We'll use the example of how it is in this chart. In this chart, it's in the second house. Now, it's in the second house because when I cast this chart, I purposely made it so that Aries is in the first house, just for the sake of reading the chart. But the house that it's going to be in for you is going to be based on your exact time of birth. As an example, being in the second house, this would inspire like a renovation around what your values are, around what you possess. You might want to get rid of old things that you don't want around anymore to create room for new revitalization coming into the picture. This can also be a time, because it's Taurus and Venus is involved, where you want to optimize the beauty and harmony of your environments that you spend a lot of time in, redecorating, things like that, just as an example. Okay, so we see that Pluto is squaring Uranus. Pluto squaring Uranus. I look at squares as checkpoints where we have to take a look at something and figure out what effort we need to apply in order to work around the checkpoint. It's like a little, I don't want to say a roadblock, but you could say roadblock, or the need for like a little bit of a detour type of energy. So if Pluto is evolution and Uranus is the planet of change, unexpected developments, and the square is there, I would interpret this as being, this is a really good time, again, with the mutable energy, to not be rigidly fixed on how things are happening, when things are happening, but be willing to go with the flow and trust that whatever life is bringing us that might not be in our plan or on our radar is somehow supporting our soul evolution. We also have some sextile aspects here between Neptune and the Sun and Venus and Jupiter. Again, Neptune brings in that inner space of spiritual connection, soul connection. And so the sextile here is supporting us, and I would say being able to maintain a grounded awareness around what our soul-centered trajectory is in regard to these things we've already talked about, with the themes of Uranus, Jupiter, and Venus. So Venus making the sextile to Neptune is a very lovely, harmonized energy of beauty. And so that energy is prevalent. Jupiter brings expansion to that sense of spiritual connection. And the Uranus energy is there, but not as fully. But again, it would lend itself to saying that whatever sudden changes are happening, are whatever innovation, because Uranus is also the planet of innovation, are things that again are supporting your soul growth, your sense of connection spiritually as well. And then we also have Neptune making a sextile, I'm sorry, a trine to the moon. Oops, not sure why this isn't going right now. Hold on 1 second here. Dun, 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 boom. Okay. All right. So moon, our inner nature. Neptune, our soul connection. So you can see how there's themes that are supporting us in being really connected and rooted in with our feeling of connection spiritually with ourselves and our feeling of connection with life as we are going through this period of alchemy, soul evolution, which is connected to how Pluto is playing into the mix around this particular full moon. And it's the same with Pluto making this sextile to Neptune as well. Soul evolution, nature of transformation definitely feels to be the overall theme, but then going back to the Aries, the North Node, Mars, and Chiron, it's like that under foundational theme of cultivating a deep connection with your self spiritually, your soul knowing is what enables you to make the best out of this sort of launch pad energy in the direction of your deepest enthusiasms that's connected with Chiron, Mars, and the North Node happening in Aries. Let me know in the comments anything that you want to share with us all here about all of this. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen now. Hello. And I'm going to start doing the all signs. And I'm working with my Light Seers Tarot today. I haven't worked with this in a few weeks. I'm going to pull one card for each sign, and we're just going to get some additional insights and messages for you here. So if you're Aries rising, sun sign, or moon sign, however, this is going to be most accurate for your rising sign in regard to how it's showing up for you overall in your life. You can look at the moon sign for matters having to do with inner components of how you feel, things that are connected to nurturing energies, the private sector of your life and home, while you can look at the sun for things that have to do with how you're involving yourself within society, things that are connected to your long-term goals. Okay, so if you're an Aries rising, then the moon, the full moon in Sagittarius is showing up in your 9th house of worldliness, adventure. The 9th house is all about seeking truth. It's connected to life philosophies, higher learning, things that are connected to foreign cultures. There could be literally traveling in store for you if you are an Aries rising, either literal travel or travel through how you are researching, investigating, discovering things that are connected to your soul evolution interests, because the 9th house is connected to that seeking truth information. Okay, so for Aries rising, let's take a look at how this is showing up for you. Extra little message here. I'm just spreading the cards out. And it's the King of Swords showing up reversed. Here's what the card looks like right side up. All of the kings in the tarot ultimately represent empowered self-leadership. Swords is about the mind level of things, our mental awareness, and it is connected to things having to do with communication, discernment. And so when this card comes up reversed for Aries rising people, it feels like it's a little bit of a message of reclaiming your connection with your own inner wisdom. And I say that because I'm noticing the owl in this card, and owls represent inner wisdom. Owls also represent psychic ability because they see very well into the dark, into the night. Now I want to talk about in this card, we have two nocturnal creatures. The owl is nocturnal. The bat here is nocturnal. Bats also represent psychic ability because they use sonar to see and communicate. Raven here is not nocturnal, but one thing that I learned about ravens, because I love ravens, so I study them, they do have a thing where with their eyes, they see in the negative as we do as humans. Like when it's daytime for us and we see everything like it's daytime, to ravens and crow family, it looks like nighttime to them. And then at night, when we see things in dark, they see things as light. So there's a message here about perception for Aries rising people, and that in maybe having some introspection around your perception, how you're choosing to see things, your point of view, and being open to new perspectives, new points of view, more than likely is supporting you and shifting more into your empowerment. So if you're an Aries rising person, let me know how you feel that that's showing up for you. And then we're going to come into Taurus. So if you're a Taurus, then the full moon is happening in your 8th house, and the 8th house represents cycles of birth, death, life, transformation. It's sexuality, it's evolution, all things that are connected to like Scorpio type energy. And you have the 9 of Pentacles coming up. When the 9 of Pentacles comes up, this is an energy of prosperity. It's manifestation energy because it's Pentacles. And manifestation energy can be connected to your physical health and well-being. This can indicate a time of your physical health and well-being improving. This can be a time where you're having ideas and awarenesses around how to utilize the multifacetedness of your talents, skills, abilities to magnetize more financial prosperity to you. And since it's in the 8th house of transformation and evolution, I would say that the manifestation, how do I want to say this? I'll say, pay attention to deep within where it is that you're seeking transformation and an evolution. It can be like soul evolution, or it can be the evolution of a situation in your life, moving on to some next phase. Pay attention to how that's showing up for you if you're Taurus rising. And this energy would say that in your awareness of what you're desiring and how you're desiring to experience evolution, transformation, that ultimately will manifest for you in ways that are supporting expansion and growth. Okay, so let's move on to Gemini. If you're a Gemini rising, Then the full moon is happening in your 7th house of long-term partnership and relationship. Oh, and the Lovers card came up. It came up reversed, so I'll talk about that. This is what the card looks like right set up. The Lovers card in the tarot, on one level, is really about your own inner sacred marriage, your own inner connection within yourself. This card can have to do with projections. For example, are you projecting onto a partner expectations that really are your own responsibility, right? Like, meaning with your own inner sacred marriage, is there something about your own inner female or your own inner male that you are not completely embodying within yourself, that you're projecting onto a partner as an expectation, maybe because it came up reversed, which would emphasize that a little bit more. So it's like taking back your projections, taking back your expectations, and being more self-reliant and self-aware as to how you can embody those qualities for yourself. There's a saying that says we have to become what we idealize as an ideal partner for ourselves. We have to become that before it will show up for us. And it feels like that is the message that's coming up for you if you're a Gemini rising. Cancer rising people, the full moon is happening in your 6th house of your health and wellness routines, your work routines, and how you are of service. Let's see what wants to come up. The 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords ultimately is the energy of healing through forgiveness. In the 6th house, maybe there's something that you're recognizing within yourself that you could be putting a little bit more positive energy into regarding your health and wellness routines, your work routines, and how you are of service. So this is not a time to criticize yourself, ridicule yourself, judge yourself, beat yourself up. It's just a time of, oh, oops, I have this awareness now. I forgive myself for whatever was not on my radar up till now, and I'm choosing a new path. Remember, we are in the height of the listening woman moon cycle. We are in the height of gaining awarenesses, insights, and answers that we set intentions to arrive at based on whatever we had been seeking at the new moon. And so for you, it looks like it has something to do with letting go of self-judgment around maybe somewhere where you notice that you could have shown up a little bit better for yourself, not judging it, but just be like, okay, I get it now, and I'm showing up starting now. Okay, so Leo, if you're a Leo rising, this full moon is happening in your 5th house of pleasure, romance, creative self-expression, children. And it's the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords represents the cultivation of mental awareness. It can be the beginning of a new journey of learning. And because it's in the 5th house for you, if you're a Leo rising, then it could be the beginning of cultivating a learning of something that is a creative interest of yours. This can be a time where you find pleasure in self-development, learning, studying, and things that enrich, studying things that enrich your self-development. Okay. Virgo, if you're a Virgo rising, the full moon is happening in your 4th house of home, private life, your roots, your ancestry. And it's the Page of Cups, showing up reversed. The pages in the tarot, the court cards in general, can represent characteristics of actual people in your life, their personality characteristics. So it can be personality characteristics of people around you, or personality characteristics that you have within you, which may or may not be active. And in this way that I'm giving messages for people, I'm going to read this in the way of personality characteristics of you. So the personality characteristic that is here in the Page of Cups is inspirations around love, emotional connection, and emotional well-being. Sometimes this comes in when we're developing an interest in someone romantically. But in the reverse position, showing up in the 4th house for Virgo people, I'm going to say that this is a message of self-nurturing, especially with the Virgo energy. Virgo energy can be on one level, the archetype of a healing person, but Virgos are very attentive to people around them, but not always with themselves. So taking some time for self-nurturing, self-connection. Cups is about receptivity, receiving the care and nurturing and love of others as well. Feminine, motherly, nurturing energy, embodying that. Okay, moving on to Libra. If you're Libra rising, then this full moon is happening in your 3rd house of of communication. 3rd house of communication, socializing, sharing ideas. And it's the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is action-oriented. It's dynamic movement. It can sometimes indicate a need to be a little bit more grounded and deliberate around your movement. But it can also indicate a time where it's good to have some spontaneity and breaking outside of your usual regimen for yourself. And Libra, with the full moon in the 3rd house, because Libra is all about seeking balance, 3rd house to me would indicate really wanting to find your people, like running to find your community, your tribe. Who can I connect with? Who's aligned? Who can I share ideas with? That energy feels really strong for you right now. And just let yourself spontaneously explore and go with the flow with it. Scorpio. If you're Scorpio rising, then this full moon is happening in your 2nd house of what you value, what you possess. It can also be how you make money on more mundane realities. 2 cards came, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about them both. The Queen of Wands and the World card reversed. Reversals in the tarot, by the way, are not negative or bad or anything like that. It just changes the dynamic of the insights that come. The Queen of Wands is all about creativity, creative embodiment, really feeling empowered. When it's right side up, it's feeling empowered in your creative talent, skills, and abilities, and your creative self-expression. And the World card, when it comes up upright, is the celebration of a long cherished goal or dream or ambition coming to culmination. So with both of these, in your second house for Scorpio, I would say that in order for you to achieve the full manifestation of something you've been striving for, you have to believe in your creative vision for yourself, or maybe apply yourself creatively a little bit more. Because ultimately, Taurus, I see as a house of manifestation. I'm saying Taurus because it's the second house, which is the natural home of Taurus. It is like a manifestation related house because of that energy. So being willing to shine in your creativity and not just keep it to your little Scorpio self, right? Okay. If you're Sag rising, then this full moon is going to be in your first house because the full moon is in Sag. The first house is like who you are, who you're becoming. In shamanic astrology, the first house is the ascendant, the rising sign, right? So in shamanic astrology, the ascendant is who you're becoming. It's connected to your true soul calling, similar to the North Node. And again, Sagittarius energy is a seeker of truth, ultimately. And that we seek truth in Sagittarius through exploring life philosophies, learning from other cultures, traveling, things like that. And the Hierophant card, which is very connected to that. This is you being your own inner guru, seeking higher knowledge, going in your own way, in your own guidance, rather than following typical, inside the box structures. Okay. And Capricorn, if you're a Capricorn rising, then the full moon is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is the last house of the zodiac, and so it has to do with completions. It can have to do with endings. It also is connected to our deep unconscious self. It's connected to intuition, psychic ability, spirituality. It can also be our own unconscious sabotaging, self-undoing, and it can relate to institutions. And institutions can be anywhere from hospitals, educations, banks, facilities, or spiritual retreats. And you have the Five of Wands. When the Five of Wands comes up, the fives in the tarot always present some type of challenge for us. You might have heard me say this before, but it's always a challenge that's somehow meant to help us grow. And the Five of Wands is creativity. So implementing creative approaches is what's coming up for Capricorn rising people. Creative approaches to all those themes that I just mentioned that are connected to the 12th house. Maybe there's something you're striving to bring to completion. So it's like being open to creative solutions, creative problem solving, win-win situations. Really let your creativity speak to you rather than just your rational mind right now. And oftentimes I find our creativity is linked to those intuitive little light bulbs of awareness that we have when we're in a relaxed state of being, where we're relaxing our mind. If you're Aquarius rising, then the full moon is happening in your 11th house of innovation, social groups, friends, your deep wishes, dreams. And it's the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands, when this card comes up, it means that you have established a nice, solid, sturdy foundation of growth for yourself. And it's time to get out there into the world and see what else is out there. It's about sharing of yourself. It's about enjoying the aspects of your intentions that have come to fruition and continuing on the path of holding space for continued growth for yourself. Threes are about fruition. If one is the seed, two is the plant, three is the fruit, four is full manifestation, which is what's coming next. So for Aquarian rising people, this is a time to keep a momentum going in regard to continued flourishing with whatever your intentions are at this time in your life. And then lastly, Pisces, if you're a Pisces rising, then this full moon is going to be happening in your 10th house of long-term goals. It can also be career. And it's the King of Cups coming up reversed. So I would say for Pisces rising people, it's time for you to shift into your empowered self leadership in regard to like in that inner nature of you, because Cups is your inner nature. It's your senses, your feelings, your instincts, your intuitions. You know, Pisces people are naturally really intuitive, but not always super dropped into confidence in it. And so applying a deeper connection with your inner instincts and gaining confidence in that is a part of what helps you to shift into your empowered self-leadership regarding specifically those 10th house themes of long-term goals, career, social status, things like that. So that's what's up for this episode. I want to remind you all of you who might be interested that I do have an online course called Mastering Intuition, Empowering the Language of Your Soul that is completely on demand, a streamable course that you can progress through in your own pace, in your own location, in your own timing. It's an amazing course. I definitely invite you to check it out. I'm going to put the link below, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. But I will see you around the corner in the next video. All my love, blessings, and namaste.